Hey YouTube. Okay, this is video number 7 in the Big Steel Tent series, and this is where uh, I start to reconsider my power options. I'd already determined that I probably needed a little bit more power for the Starlink upload, the upload time, uh, and the consumption of power that it took running the laptop to upload a video for 2 hours. Okay. Now I started adding another comfort item, a 12-volt cooler that increased the capacity of the food I'm able to take. Because on my long trips, in order to save a little bit of money, I want to eat out of the back of the truck instead of at a restaurant. Let's take a look at that cooler and how I made breakfast. Hey YouTube. Well, we are out here again in the beautiful Sam Houston National Forest on an absolutely gorgeous day. We're shooting another Big Steel Tent video, and we're going to do a couple other things while we're out here, hopefully. Before we get too deep into it, let us go to a scene that occurred out in front of my palatial suburban estate 2 nights ago. Okay, first of several tests we're going to conduct with this little jewel right here. This is the Alpicool 16 quart 12-volt refrigerator. And the first thing we got to do is see if this dang thing will fit. So far, so good. Bada bing. Okay now, well, there she be. There's the coolers, the Alpicool 15 quart, I think it's the NL15. It's kind of in an inconvenient location here because I had to move the table over here because of some other tests that we're conducting this weekend. But what I did is I read the instruction manual, another departure from the norm. I read the instruction manual, plugged it in, set the temperature to about, I believe it was 34 degrees. And I don't have a temperature gun to test whether or not it's an accurate reading, but I can tell you that the indicated reading on here is that it fluctuates from between 32 degrees and about 37 degrees, and that's pretty much normal. You know, once that compressor kicks on, it'll go down, and then it'll get up to a certain temperature, and then it'll kick back on again. A number of other environmental conditions, bada. All I'm saying is, this is keeping things cool. I also put in 4 bottles of frozen water in here to help that process. Now, the test we're conducting is to see how much electricity this takes. Okay, and I am gobsmacked. I am very impressed. Let's take a look at the state of charge of my Delta, which was at 100% when I plugged this in last night. Let's take a look at how much electricity this and 3 hours of use on the laptop last night took up. In other words, this ran all night long, and at the same time I was using the laptop for about 3 hours. Let's take a look at that. Okay, state of charge after 13 hours, using the laptop and running the cooler for 13 hours. Running the cooler for 13 hours, using the laptop for about 3, we are at 85%. Okay, again, I am gobsmacked. Use 15% of the available power in the Delta. After 3 hours use of the laptop and 13 hours of use on this cooler. Okay, and I can tell you that most of that 15% was taken up by the laptop. This pulls a lot of juice. I'm having to tie into 120 volt, which is what I'm doing here. This does have 12 volt input. I actually, by rights, I should use the plug here on the Delta, but I wanted to see what the max draw was. And the maximum draw is, again, it's a pittance. This thing runs very, very, very well. So the long and short of it is, the cooler, the test is a success. I'm very happy with it. This will keep food cool, and it won't take much juice out of the Delta at all. Now, let us go on. We got some other tests that's going on, but first, a tale of woe. We have had our first disaster. For some reason, the power cord for my Joule was left behind. So another thing on the checklist that I need to put down is make sure I've got the power cord on that. I thought I had it, but I only really need hot water for coffee, and that's where the disaster is currently residing. Is what I've done is I've turned on one of my little griddles, and I've set a coffee cup on there with some. It is getting warm. I may have warm coffee instead of hot coffee this morning, but in a little bit we'll do a video, recipe video, show you the egg McMuffins that I make. I think this is going to work. Yeah, that was about 4 hours ago, 7:30 in the morning. It's about 11:30 now. Let's all take a moment of silence for me having to drink warm coffee. I managed to live through it. I suffer for my art, guys. But yeah, I will be carrying a propane stove from now on. I'll find a place for it. It's just another thing to carry, but it's a good reason. So this pretty much concludes the testing on the cooler. I don't think I have to do any more. And what I'm going to do the rest of this weekend is test my solar panel. My solar panel arrangement, you might see some of it back here, to see if we can keep the Delta juiced up, or at least prevent it from losing any. We'll get into that. We'll do it for another video. We're already at 6.5 minutes on this video. I'm adding a couple here, and what we'll do is we will conclude this video with the recipe that I use to make an Egg McMuffin using my Dash egg cookers to, well, cook an English muffin. Let's take a look at that. Okay, the coffee is done. Lukewarm, but it's coffee. Does the job. Okay, for this recipe, we're going to start out. We've set our 2 Dash heat sources. They are plugged in and ready to go. We're going to mix our desiccated eggs that are packaged in the packaging from Vico Expedition Outfitters 1 teaspoon of eggs powder equals 1 egg. So there's a half teaspoon. Here's another half teaspoon. Now we mix a teaspoon of water in there and we're just going to guess. Take my very expensive kitchen utensils here. Good to mix it up and get all the dry stuff crushed and incorporated. To see where you are, you want it liquid but not runny. You may hear my neighbors. I wasn't able to get my campsite last night. I had arrived a little late because of traffic in Houston. Should have left last night, or the night before. And we're going to add a little bit more water to that to make it a little bit better, easier to pour. And we'll let it sit there for a second while we take a piece of Canadian bacon. And we're going to lay it on the bottom of this egg duckus here and listen to it sizzle. Let it sit there for a second. Make sure the eggs are well incorporated. And what I did was I brought an English muffin with me. I've already slathered it with butter. We're going to take it, we're going to put the top and the bottom together so that when we put it in here, we've got butter facing both heat surfaces. This will heat on the top and the bottom. So we're toasting that right now. We'll open this up. Flip our bacon over and pour in the eggs. Get our bowl out of the way now. We'll get our egg ready, our cheese ready. Need a slice of cheese. And what I like to do is break it into 4 sections so I don't have any hanging over the edge. Sit that there, that's getting ready. Another sip of coffee. See what's going on in the world. I haven't got great internet connection. That looks about ready. Doesn't take long. Take a look at our English muffins. I'm going to flip that over because it generally cooks better on one side. We're going to let this sit for a minute. A little bit want some. Yeah, we got enough toast on the English muffins. And there we go. That slam you heard was the porta-can. There's a porta-can over here where I am. I wished I had gotten that other campsite last night. It looked like the guy was just setting up. I had just missed it. Anyway, there we go. There is the Egg McMuffin. And a good cup of coffee. Big steel tent style. I'm going to eat. Back in a minute. Well, there you go. I enjoyed it. I hope you did too. We had some Egg McMuffins. And cook all sorts of things with those two little heaters there. They do draw on the Delta, and that's going to be part of the test that we'll be doing with the solar panels over here. But right now what I'm going to do is I am going to take the flying camera, a couple of bottles of water, put those in my haversack, get my walking staff, take you and the dog for a hike down to Angelic Demon Pond. I'll probably do one of them artsy fartsy ASMR things where I don't talk, you just hear the music. So we'll see in a little bit, and when I come back I will start doing the testing, more testing on the solar panels. See you down the trail, literally.